This is episode 62 of the Rhythm and Rise podcast, and we are bridging the gap between black music here and abroad. Yo, the tagline getting better every week. I'm your host, AJ Hughes, and I'm here with my co-host, Antonio Hughes. Antonio, how's it going? Wagwan, my brother.
Pretty good. I'm honestly very tired from all the traveling and back and forth between here, Illinois, Kansas City, wherever I gotta go, all this stuff. But it's been a lot. But other than that, I feel pretty good. I had to drive back. They give me a chance to go revisit some albums. So I think we'll have a good conversation about top tens today for sure.
Top 10 albums of the year so far. I remember when we did this last year, and a lot of the ones in the top half of the year ended up being still in my top 10 at the end of the year. So I'm interested to see what you think of mine, and I want to know what you have on your list too. I'll go first.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should go first.
Okay, I'll go first. We'll start with honorable mentions. I had a couple projects on here that I remember like being fond of. Some of them I didn't listen to like extensively, but I heard them enough to feel strong about them. So first was Rent Due by La Russell. 8 songs. Oh, this is projects, by the way. I'm not doing albums, EP. Like I'm just projects. If it's more than one song, I'm adding it in this list just to give you a FYI. Um, Honorable mentions: Rent Due by La Russell and Hit Boy. Very strong project. 8 songs, all bars, all slaps, no skips. Heavy by Sir. This one I didn't listen to as much as I thought I was going to. I enjoyed it both times I listened to it, and then when I go back to the singles, I like a lot of them on there. Features on there are strong, but not something that cracked the top 10 for me, which was surprising because I'm a Sir stan. I'm a Sir stan. You know what I'm saying? So, Jiggy Forever by Young John. I came on here and spoke well of that one and said that one gave me vibes of like Mr. Money with the vibe. That first Asha K project, it sort of reminded me of that in a way in terms of the production, but definitely something I'll go back to frequently. P4 by Party Next Door. Didn't listen to this one a ton, but the first couple of listens, I enjoyed it. You know, honorable mentions, so it doesn't really have to be too strong. Almighty Sosa, 2, Chief Keef. Production on there was crazy. I felt like this was the first Chief Keef project I listened to in a very long time that I enjoyed, top to bottom. So I thought it was worth mentioning. And then this one probably would have made my top 10 if we did this a month later. The last one by Heady One. You want to hear what I had to say about it? We have a ton of clips on that on the page. So anything to say so far on the honorable mentions?
I will say Sure is one I forgot about almost. Like I remember when I was looking through the list of the albums that came out this year, I saw his name, but I forgot to put it on my list. So I'm glad you said something about that. And I definitely think Rent Due is one I wanted to give more of a burn to. I feel like I didn't get enough listens in on that to be able to be like, oh, that was one of my favorite albums of the year. That was one of the best albums of the year for me. But Almighty Show 2, I could definitely get with you on that too. Good one.
Yeah. You know, I think this was the first time like Sir, he was gone for so long and it didn't come with like, yo, this is a classic, at least to me. And so I'm like, it kind of just came and went. Like the other ones had staying power enough to where I might not have loved them initially, but I went back and listened to them over and over and over again. I'm like, oh, these are slaps. This one just wasn't that for me. It was good, but I didn't go back to it a ton.
I can see that.
Okay. Top 10. And I actually did go and like order these as 1 to 10. It took me a minute. I had to listen to 2 and 3 again. I had to listen to 2 and 3 again, but I'm sure in my list, right? Number 10, The Year I Turned 21 by Ira Star. This project for me of the 10 was the 10th, obviously the weakest. I don't want to call it weak, but the singles on here were super strong. In between the singles for me was where it kind of felt a little flat. Like not super flat. The songs were enjoyable and the flow of the album makes you not want to skip too far ahead. But I'm waiting on the singles, if that makes sense. My favorite song on there is Goodbye by Ira Star and Asha K. Number 9, One of One by Gunna. I'm not the biggest Gunna fan, but I do bump this one a lot in the gym, in the car. The title track, One of One, is probably one of my favorite songs of the year. So 101 Gunna. Number 8, self-titled by Bryson Tiller. This is really good R&B music. I go back to this one pretty frequently, like when I'm in my R&B bag. Chow is really good. Whatever She Want. What else? The one with Victoria Monet. That one's really fire. So made the top 10.
I wasn't gonna say anything. My bad.
Okay. Number 7, Stubborn Victini. This one just recently came out, but the singles on here very strong. The one, I was listening to one yesterday. It's called, I want to get the name right because I don't want to mess this up. Here, it is called. Okay, here it is. Bastard, Don't Be Silly. That song, generational rhythm. Generational rhythm. Number 6, Please Don't Cry, Rhapsody. Number 5, Blood Diamond by Unknown T. There are really good raps on this project. These two projects specifically. I actually had more rap in here than I expected to when I went back. Number 4, Lyrics to Go Volume 5 by Coda the Friend. There's no skips on that project, straight bars, and it's a quick listen. So please give it a listen. Now, my top 3. True by Meeks. I came in here and said that he's one of the best lyricists in the UK, and I'm here to stand on it. That project is so nuts. Like I said, the production on there reminds me a lot of like, it gives me I'm not saying they're Dr. Dre beats, but it gives me 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying type of vibe. The visuals for this were really dope. The singles that led up to it, Mini Me, GTA 6, those were fire. And then there's like real bars on here. There's real bars on here. Number 2, Dark Times by Vince Staples. What took it to number 2 for me, it was a good listen off the first couple, but when I went back and listened to it earlier this week, the production on there, like he just let the people on the production go crazy. And I feel like the way that they mixed the songs and the way that they sequenced them made it a really easy listen, right? Let me give you the runtime and the producers really quick. Okay, 35 minutes, so really short listen. And then some people that appeared throughout like the production that I liked. I know Mike Hector was one person. Cardo was on this one. Cardo did radio. And then there was a couple more people I wanted to name. Saint Mino, he was on a couple of tracks. Not exactly sure who that is. And then Jay Versace, he did Etufe. Those are just a couple of people, but he had a lot of people working on the production on this. But it's definitely probably one of my most replayed albums of the year so far. And then number 1, Born in the Wild by Tems. The reason I love this project is because it's so minimal. It's really just her singing, and it's not too much else. There's only 2 features on here, Asake and J. Cole. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm not ready to call it a classic yet. But in terms of debuts, it's one of the better. Oh my God. In terms of debuts, it's one of the better debuts that we've had in the last, I would say, since we've been on the pod, if I'm being honest. Like, this is a project that I genuinely have no skips for, and one that I think I'm going to go back to for probably years. So that's my number 1 album of the year so far. What do you think of my list? Would you change any of it? Do you find anything on here that was interesting?
I will agree with you about the Thames album because that's on my list as well. I didn't have it as high as you just because I probably haven't listened to it as much as you, but I just think one of the things I pointed out in the old pods is that Thames is like a really good singer, and you've gotten that from her, but I feel like you haven't gotten like enough of a body of work to be able to be like, okay, her voice is really different. And I feel like that's something I saw when I saw her in concert, and that's something you definitely got on this album. The Meeks project as well, I need to listen to that more. The Code of the Friend project, I definitely need to listen to that more because that was just something, it kind of came and went for me. At least it was something I didn't throw on as much as I should have. Rhapsody was Rhapsody was an honorable mention for me, but that one was really good as well. And I think this Victini album is gonna be, I feel like that's gonna move up because that album has real good songs on it. But I was honestly surprised with your Gunna one of one, like to place that on there. I didn't think you were gonna have that on there, to be honest. And
I'm hip.
honestly,
I'm hip.
but yeah, and honestly, it's like it's crazy because he's had two of the better albums in the past 2 years, and I feel
Yeah.
like and I feel like this one, out of all the Gunna albums I like personally, I feel like this is one of his weakest, which is crazy. Which is crazy
Dang.
to me. Yeah, yeah.
Dang. You feel like it's one of his weakest?
I feel like this is the first time I have ever felt like some Gunna songs felt very repetitive and like we got them before. I feel like it's an album I can always throw on in the background, and it's something I don't really listen to with intent. But I think just this one compared to some of his other albums, like this one compared to the last one, like the last one was like really like a smash, and then even
Okay.
the one before that, like that one was like really a smash. Like I feel like the past two were just on a I feel like the last two were very comparable, but the one
Was
before that.
was the one before the last one. So um was that the one where he was on a cover like this, like with his arms spread? I got dollars on my head.
No, not that one. Not
Oh,
that one.
oh.
Because that album is fire too. That album was fire too.
That one was he. That was
Okay,
he.
no. Yeah, so A Gift and a Curse was the one right before this. And that one I thought was really good. And then DS for DS
Oh,
Forever.
that one.
So yeah, so Drip Season Forever, that one was hard. I love that album. But Wanna was also probably his most like complete project, honestly. But I'm also the type of person to say I haven't heard a bad Gunna album since probably Drip or Drown 2. Like that's just me. That's just me. But I don't know.
Yeah, one is my favorite. And
Yeah.
then when you first started like getting into Gunna, you sent me a lot of stuff off Drip season 3.
Yeah. Drip Season
Yeah.
3 has hits on it too. That's like when people got their
Yeah.
first real introduction to Gunna. That's also when Baby started to pop off because that's when Gunna's pen got nice and he was teaching her Baby. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was he.
Okay. Should I go with my list now?
Your turn. What you got for 10?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with some honorable mentions first to try to name some stuff you didn't mention, and I guess my list is gonna be a little different as far as what I have it number wise, just because I don't want to talk about the same exact albums, but I will say some honorable mentions for me. Young Miko came out with ATT this year. That was a really good project. I feel like I was looking for reggaeton projects to throw in here that I really liked, and I feel like we've got more reggaeton singles than we have albums and full projects this year. So that was one I definitely want to throw out there. Vultures one. I don't know about how everybody else feels about Kanye West right now or that Kanye West album, but I do feel like it was a pretty good album, and I feel like sound wise, the beats are always going to be crazy from Kanye. I feel like at this point in his career, he's been able to curate vibes and curate like songs and kind of like almost jam sessions where he has like a bunch of people he can bring together really well. Like he does that really well now. So this is a project that's going to be in there for me. Um, J. Cole's dang, I'm over here blanking
I
on the
might
name of the
delete
project.
later.
Yeah, I might delete later. That one definitely going in my honorable mentions for now. It's gonna sneak in that top 10 for me when everybody lets that J. Cole hate go. But for right now, we're gonna leave it in the honorable mentions. I had Chief Keef honorable mention to Love Sosa. And then Sauce Walka. So Sauce Walka's project I had talked about. I think I said something about that last week too, and I said I was gonna go check it out. But honestly, in that like trap rap lane, like southern rap lane, it's one of the better projects that I've heard this year. Like I feel like
Wow.
he's really, yeah, he's on there rapping a lot. He got a Travis Scott feature on there. I feel like he used some of the chop and slop, and that was kind of cool to see how he used that. And I feel like he can really go. Like I feel like people don't know Sauce Walka for a bunch of his antics and all the stuff he says, and like just all the other stuff besides the fact that his music is actually pretty good. Like he has some good songs on there, so I would definitely say go check that one out. It was called
I'll say the Young Miko project was one of them I just didn't have the capacity to listen to. Like it was good when I listened to it the first time, but I didn't feel confident enough to like give it an opinion on it. I haven't heard it that much.
yeah.
And then the J. Cole, I don't know. Is it a project? Are we
I,
gonna even? Is he even gonna be there tomorrow? Like he might delete it.
No, it'll, bro. I'm telling you that project is good, bro. You got to go listen to that. Like, I will stand on Trader Truth is a be Trader Truth in Ibiza is one of the best
You
songs to
heard
come
the
out this year.
remix?
No, I didn't hear it, but I'm gonna go listen to it.
They put Trey the Truth on it.
Okay, yeah. No, see, I gotta go listen to that now. Gotta go tap into that, you know. Shout out J. Cole. I'm not hating no more. But that album, that Sauce Walk album is Sauce Father 2 for anybody who wants to go listen to it. But to get into some of the songs, I mean, some of the albums that I would put up here, I'll start with Boldy James, Penalty of Leadership. I've said before, Nicholas Craven is one of my favorite white boys. You know, I love Nicholas Craven. He makes crazy beats. I feel like on this project, we got really I'm trying to think. Digestible Boldy James for songs. I feel like sometimes he's one of those like really heavy, wordy, bar you down rappers, I feel like. And sometimes it takes a couple projects, I mean, a couple listens to really get what he's trying to say. And some of the lingo they use in Detroit or some of the lingo he uses is a little different. So people have to catch on to that. So that one is one that I have been back to a lot. And I feel like that's just been one of my favorite projects of the year. After that, I would definitely say Worldwide Whack by Tierra Whack. This was one, and I'm talking about this first because I'm also going to talk about the Lucky Day project. But I this was one I had to go back to, and I really had to give more of a listen to because it had like a really strange sound at first. Like Tierra Whack has this really off the wall way that she raps, and I feel like she tries to really mix in like using her voice as an instrument as well. And this is one that I really had to go back and give a listen to. I feel like the beats on here were crazy, production was crazy, a lot of the concepts behind the songs were crazy, and this is one I'm definitely going to have in more in my rotation for the second half of the year. Some of the songs I liked off it, definitely sorry definitely Chanel Pitt. That's one that's going to be in my top listen to songs of the year. Tonight was a really good song. Invitation was also really good, and I liked Numb as well. Numb is definitely a one that I'm going to go back to. But the reason I said I was going to go back to the Lucky Day project is because I did get to listen to that in full on my way from Indiana back to Chicago. And there was like a point where I lost service, so I only had a couple albums to listen to. So I clicked on that one. And one thing about me, when I listen to albums in full, I feel like I really like them a lot more. Like I feel like when I try to single pick and go off of what I think is going to be good, or just kind of, I'm the type of person too. Like I feel like a lot of like artists put stock in the names of the songs that they have, right? So if I see some crazy name or I see some name that's gonna relate to you and I think it's gonna be crazy, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna listen to that one first. But I feel like I got to listen to this Lucky Day project on the way, like I said, back, and it was crazy. Like I feel like some of the musicality in here is very retro. I feel like some of the projects that it reminded me of were like Worldwide Whack, like I said, but also Tory Lanez, his project, the kind of 80s, 90s project.
The I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, bro. Been,
Yeah.
yo, side note, the volume of Tory Lanez in jail, second to only Vibes Cartel.
Dude, they
bro
want him
has
out
nothing
bad.
but time.
Bro, they want him out bad. Like that's the thing. I feel like he's gonna be in there for a while, but everybody's sitting there like release Tory, because the music is that good. But really like reminded me of Alone at Prom a lot. It had a very like, I don't want to like put Lucky Day in that conversation. Obviously, he's not there yet, but it had a very like Michael Jackson, Prince, James Brown type of like feel to it when you listen to it all the way through. I feel like it had a very like kind of emo soft rock type of feel on some songs, but I will say my take is still the same, that I felt like there was a lot of times where you found him like trying to sound like other people, like trying to sound like an Anderson .Paak or trying to sound like a Bruno Mars, and it made sense because he was working with some of those people, so it makes sense that that would come out, or that's what would come out of that type of session. But I do still feel like this was one of the better projects that came out of R&B this year, so I wanted to mention that. Another one I want to talk about is Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. This one for me, I like one of my favorite projects to come out in the past 2 years, to be honest. Like, I feel like I've really been wanting TDE since we got that last SZA project. I feel like that I've been like feeding for it for real. Like, I want an Isaiah Rashad project. We're gonna get new Kendrick, but I feel like Schoolboy Q is one that I personally wasn't looking for like that, because I feel like the last two Schoolboy Q projects, although they were pretty decent, I feel like they were overshined by everybody else that was coming out of TDE at that time. I feel like he was one of those, like, not even he got the backseat, but it was just like he was almost the underground of TDE. That's what I would consider. But this
Him and
album had,
Absol, yeah.
yeah. Like, I feel like they kind of took on that role of like, we know who the biggest artists are, and we're willing to take that step back to let them thrive, to let the label thrive. I feel like that's kind of where they saw it. But either way, this project was great. A lot of the songs on here I go back to all the time. I feel like every time I turn it on in the gym, I get a little bit more hype, even with the jazz beats. I love it. And some of the songs on here that I really liked, Blue Slides is still very much so in my rotation. Movie is in my rotation. Nunu is in my rotation. I don't want to say it wrong. Fox. I don't know what he was trying to say with that,
Fog,
but
yeah.
that song, yeah, Fog, yeah, like that song is really good. But those are some of the songs I liked on there. Production was crazy. Definitely one I should say everybody should check out. Next, We Don't Trust You. I feel like this project personally still in the rotation very much so. We Don't Trust You, we still don't trust you, not as much. I feel like that's R&B Future, and although I do like R&B Future in some cases, I think I was so hyped off of the first album and like all the beats that were on there, and we got the Not Like That, or Like That, sorry, but we got Like That off there, one of the craziest verses we got this year. Metro was going crazy. I think that should honestly get nominated for a Grammy for one of the best rap albums of this year. And I think, yeah, that's where I'd go with that one. I will say Bryson Tiller again. I was a big proponent of that Bryson Tiller album when it first came out. Like, I liked it a lot. I still like it a lot. I think that would probably be closer to 1 or 2 for me, to be honest. Like, I feel like it was that good for me. I feel like it has It would be. I mean, I had Arya Star on here. Ira Star. Sorry, I had Thames on here. I had Vince on here, but I just wanted to get into some different people. But
there you go.
Either way, yeah. But sorry, I got lost. I was talking about Bryson Tiller. My bad. Okay, so I feel like the songwriting in this album was very good as well. I feel like I always point back to that Victoria Monet song, like the innuendos they were using in that, still very crazy to me. I feel like
innuendo. Let them know.
Yeah, the innuendos they were using in that song, very much so crazy. Production on there was crazy. I feel like his tour has been going really well behind it. He's been selling places out, and I really want to see it live because I think it's going to be one of those albums for the next couple of years. I think that was one of those things that is going to have Bryson off the He Fell Off train. It's that album. You can always point to that album and say, like, no, like, Bryson is still here. But I guess the last two I would really mention, let me just make sure. Okay. PND4. I would have this also close to the top for me. Like I've said before, I was really, really introduced to Party. Like, obviously we got the singles and some of the other songs that he had put out before, but I was really introduced to him through Party Mobile. And that's where I really took off with being a real Party fan. So maybe I'm just a little late in saying this is one of his best projects, but I think it's one of his best projects. I feel like also it has a lot of, same as I said about Boldy James, I feel like this had a lot of digestible songs. Like, I feel like it had a lot of stuff you can just replay, a lot of stuff you could play in the background. I feel like his performance on here was really good. It felt like he was locked in. He kind of heard what everybody was saying about Party Mobile and kind of switched up his style a little bit to go back to what he was doing, a little bit more heavy R&B, a little bit more of those kind of off weird flows that he likes to do. But I definitely think this is one that it's going to stay around for me for a couple of years. Maybe I'm just a real Party fan now after Party Mobile, but I feel like this was one of his better, like, complete projects if we're talking all the way through. But
I think P4 was good, and I'm going to listen to it more, but man, Party Next Door is just so toxic, bro. He is the best artist at sounding toxic. He's the best.
Oh
Maybe
God.
he sound better than Brent Faiyaz.
Yeah.
Brent Faiyaz be talking slicker sometimes, but Party sound fire and be talking slick.
Yeah, like
I'm
I feel like
I'm with what you're saying. I'm with you.
yeah, like I feel like he a lot of the things that people had gripes with him about before he fixed on this album. I feel like that's completely true. I feel like the not being able to understand him on some songs. Like I feel like if you go listen to some of his older stuff, he had the weird way he would use his voice and the weird kind of effects he would put on it and the way he would cut stuff up. It wouldn't always come out as like listenable for like a general listener. And I feel like if you're gonna go and listen to Party Next Door, if there was any project I would suggest to you to be like, this is probably a good introduction, I would give them this one, or I would give them
Oh wow.
maybe two. Maybe two.
Maybe too.
Mhm.
Okay. I would be interested to maybe, I don't know, maybe not today, but if you have time, like so what could you give me your top three of those? Like one, two, three. Give me a one, two, three.
I think I would probably go with Bryson Tiller at one, just off of the list I have.
Wow.
Yeah, off of the list I have, I'd probably put PND 4 at 2, and then I would probably put We Don't Trust You at 3, to be honest. Yeah, I think We Don't Trust You, and I might put Blue Lips right after that. I think that would be my top 4.
Interesting. Interesting. I wanted to ask, and maybe you don't have an answer for this. Were there any projects that disappointed the most this year? Did you have any of those? I want to know. I want to know the hard hitting questions. What were
I got you.
the biggest
I got you.
flops?
So, you're not a Yeet fan. I was a Yeet fan after Afterlife and Life. Like those were two of my favorite Yeet projects. I feel like he had some good songs before that, but 2093 wasn't my thing. You know, just wasn't my thing. Definitely not something I went back to after the first listen. Maybe I should try it again, but I tried it in multiple different settings. I tried it in the car. I tried it in the gym. I tried it at home. I tried it. I even tried it, you know, with a little drink, if you want to call it that. But not in no situation at no time did it really hit for me. I would say that's one. And then I think you're also not a Lucky fan, but I feel like Lucky came out kind of repetitive this year. Like, you know, a lot of songs on that album weren't the best. Like they were very lazy, and I feel like that's gonna be a big differentiation in rap for me for the next like couple of years. It's like does it sound lazy? Does it sound like you're just bullshitting? Like what is I think that's gonna be a big one for me. I will say one that I didn't mention that I want to mention really quick, which I don't know how I didn't talk about. Oh wait, no, never mind. That was last year. That was the end of last year. Never mind.
See, the end of last year does flood into the year. Like,
Yeah.
shit. Maybe I throw in S2
Mm,
by Wizkid. It's 4 songs.
yeah.
It came out. He's the king of I'm gonna drop some in December and then just dip. Cause them 4 songs are slaps. They would if I added that to the top 10, like I didn't add anything that short, but if I added that, it would make my top 10. It would make my top 10. That was a slap.
Yeah. Mine was
Okay.
Ryan Trey. Streets Say You Miss Me, but that was like
Ryan Trey. Street said he dropped this year.
no, that was end of the year, like last year. That was
Oh, okay,
November of last
okay.
year, but it was like it came out and like at the end of last year, so it's like it's basically this year. It's basically in
I got 3 projects. Better Off Alone by A Boogie. I don't know, for some reason I ain't listened to an A Boogie project in a minute. I was excited, and then I wasn't.
I was hot
Um,
about that one.
All Is Yellow by Lyrical Lemonade. You know, we got over the hype of it being a Lyrical Lemonade album, and then we listened to the songs. That one song with G Herbo and Baby Tron, I like that one. And then Stop Giving Me Advice, I only like for Dave's verse. Dave and Jack Harlow, I only like Dave's verse on that one. But the project overall, a little whelming or underwhelming. And then third, Flo Milli, Fine Host
You don't
Day.
like that project?
No, I didn't. I don't like. I don't want to
You
say I
don't
don't like
like
new
you don't
Flo
like
Milli.
no, I think you just don't like you don't like I don't even know how to say it. You don't like you don't like pussy rap. That's what I was trying to say. You don't like pussy rap.
I don't even think it's that though, like, cause she was doing that on her first project. For me, a lot of the I guess sonically, a lot of this project seemed very I don't want melodic. I don't want like super melodic flow melody. I want you got a nice hook and then you get it, give me 16 bars, give me 8 bars. You know what I'm saying? Like beef, what is it? Beef flow mix, like all that early stuff. That was fire. This was more like, I don't know, she gave me like a Gunna vibe where it's like he's just trying to vibe. I'm like, I don't want that
Yeah.
from you. I want actual bars.
Yeah, nah. Okay, I could see that then, because I definitely got that feeling from this project. I feel like
Right.
she was definitely trying to get more to her like musicality bag, vibe bag, instead of like barring you down. But I mean, yeah, I guess that's kind of the same way I felt about Lucky Day. Like at some point, you might have to switch for your audience, but
Oh, I got two more. I got yo, this list could go on forever.
I don't know.
R&B by Ruger and Benson. I love the two of them too much now to not like this project. Like there's one song on here I go back to. Romeo Must Die. The rest of them, basura. I don't want to say basura. It's not getting picked up if I'm at the buffet. It's staying there. Let's say that. There was one more. Oh, this one, Shakes Poppy. This Shali Poppy album they recorded in 2 minutes. That's I'll say Basuda. I'll say Basuda for that one. Cause what was going on? Um oh, and then one that I wish hit more that didn't hit was The Calm by Chris Patrick. I came in here and said it was all right. The intro is like a generational rap song, but the rest is like, eh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I'm trying to look and see if there's any, but like if there was a project I didn't like, I didn't listen to it again, so it didn't stay
Yeah.
in my stay in my Serato. So
I remember in my hate. It's okay. It's okay. Um K Tronada, Timeless. I went and gave this a real listen. I feel like he deserves that being one of my favorite producers, one of my favorite artists now. I have some thoughts and I want to know what you think about my thoughts. I want to know the thoughts about the thoughts. Okay. Um the instrumentals for me. Let me start with what I think overall. Overall, so far it's solid, but I'm not going to give it a grade or like give it an overall I don't know. I like too much judgment because the last project took me mad long to love. Like each song I started to love more as time went on. Like it took a while for me to like appreciate the entire project. But what I can say, the instrumentals for me are better than a lot of the songs. Right? The
yeah.
songs where he's just sampling something and there's no artist on it, those are the best ones. So seemingly crazy beat. The end of Weird by Duran Bernard. That the last 8 or 9 seconds on that, it's like the artist ain't even saying nothing on there, and it's just the beat. I'm like, yo, you can just loop this. You can loop this and get rid of the rest of the song. Please, babe, crazy beat, and then the last 5 seconds of Wasted Words into Snap My Finger. Wasted Words was with Thundercat, and then Snap My Finger was with Pink Panthers. Pink Panthers, and Wasted Words is literally a whole verse of nothing. It's gibberish. The words don't matter, but the beat's also crazy. That's how Thundercat works. Snap My
Yeah.
Finger, pretty good, but Pink Panthers isn't used to doing 2 minute and 30-second songs. So if you listen to the song and you listen to the beat breaks, Pink Panthers probably gave him 2 minutes worth of stuff, like including the hook and the verse. And he had to go in there and like fill the he had to go in there and fill it with beat. That's all I'm saying. Hold On is a bop. And then the last thing I wanted to say, he did a disc on disc too, which is I don't really understand it being on a streaming service like that. It might as well just be one project. But disc two is 4 songs, and I will say those are the strongest. That's the strongest run throughout the entire project. I can give you the name of the four. Wasted Words by Thundercat, Snap My Finger, Pink Panthers, Stuntin', Chanel Trace, and then Out of Luck, Mariah the Scientist. She beat the I Can't Sing allegations with this song for me. Um,
Why did she have
she
high
could sing.
kissing allegations?
Go
What?
when you leave, go look up Mariah the Scientist sings at concert. Just look it up.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Just look it
mean,
up.
bro, if we really gonna break that down, there's a lot of our favorite R&B people that could not hold a note. Like,
Okay. And if you would have asked me what I thought of Mariah the Scientist prior to an hour ago, I would have told you she can't sing. That's all I have to say on Kate Trinada's project. I have to see it live because I know he's gonna bring in some crazy beats in between. Um, it's a good project. That's all I really gotta say.
I halfway agree with you. I do feel like there was a bunch of like crazy instrumentals on here that didn't need people on them, but I do feel like the song with Don Toliver, even though there was gibberish on it, I like the song with Thundercat. Don't shoot the messenger. But I like that song. Even the Childish Gambino song, like that was a project
That's a
I
good
was
song.
disappointed with. When Childish dropped this year, I was disappointed with that project, but that song was good. I even thought the song with Anderson .Paak and Sir was pretty good, but I don't know. I just feel like I do have that exposure to K Trinata of like him doing beats for IDK and people rapping over them and them sounding crazy, or him doing like I'm trying to remember what that project is called. Um, him doing 99.9%. I feel like that was mostly beats. I feel like that wasn't
Yeah.
like him producing, him being with artists. Bubba had a good mix of both too, but I feel like he just needed more of a mix of like just his beats and then people on the songs as well. I feel like that would have made the project a lot better. But it's still something that I can listen to. Like I feel like when the music is quality, when the sounds are quality, I could still throw it on, even if a nigga on there saying some gibberish, unless it's just that bad. Like, you know.
I wish, like I saw an interview where Kate Trinata was talking about like the reason it takes him so long to do albums is because he can't get verses back, which I think is the most insane thing ever. Like he'll send beats out and just won't get verses back. And I think he was speaking to like this stigma around like the labels not wanting to do K Tronada remixes to stuff and not wanting to collaborate with him. At least, well, let me speak to the remixes. Like a lot of his biggest songs were remixes of other songs, right? Like he took it and changed the beat or took it and chopped it in a way that made it crazy. And he said that the labels and management are more afraid of fans liking the K Tronada version more than the original version, which to me is crazy. It's crazy, but it's also like I guess a valid reasoning to not want to put it out because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of my favorite K Tronada beats are remixes. A lot of them are remixes. Like
Yeah.
that Alter Ego with Dochi and JT. I don't like the original. I don't like it, but I like the K Tronada version. Tinashe just put out that Nasty Girl song.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one that's on TikTok?
Yeah.
I thought it was annoying. He did the remix. It was heat. You know what I'm saying? Like he does a lot of songs that way, or just one-off collaborations that for me, I guess song wise, are better than what's on the project. The project is good, but in terms of single worthy, like the Makami beat or the Makami one they just put out with O3 Greedo,
Mm-hmm.
that was crazy. There's a lot of singles or one-offs that I'm like, yo, this is just heat.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a label not wanting to do that because I want to sell my product, not yours, and I feel like
But it's
I,
our
I,
product now.
but it's not though. If you think about it, they want it to be fully theirs. If it was like, yeah, you can do that, but we want all that ownership, I could see that. But I could see a lot of labels not wanting to split that and then take attention away from what they've already put out with their product, even if it is this
Yeah.
newer product with K Tronada doing it. Plus, it's like if you think about the times right now, that is like mostly what every that's like becoming a big thing again. It's like DJ sitting there
Yeah.
remixing songs and doing stuff like that, and people going to listen to the remixes more than that. I feel like that's why the sped up and the slowed down thing has really become a thing, is because of that.
Yeah. I guess like in terms of the whole project thing, like being an artist for K Tronada is like it's like secondary, honestly. Like I don't think that's crazy to say, but he's a DJ. Like his thing is going to a place and playing music. And
Yeah,
he just happens to I don't want to say he just happens to also make music because he's always been making music, but it's like this is the thing he's getting super duper good at. They go hand in hand, but you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And so if the project doesn't do super duper well, it's like he can mix these songs into his sets for the rest of time. That's probably my number three artist that I have to see. It's like K Tronada, Uncle Waffles, and then I want to see Kendrick again. I haven't seen Kendrick since 2018, so I want to see Kendrick again. But K Tronada's been doing his thing. Feels Good Too by Feels. Bro, he's probably one of the best Afro beats producers that I've ever heard. These first two songs on this project, I sent
Right.
them to you, bro. I have to start like watching what I'm saying on here because we're trying to reach a broader demo. But this song would be this song would have narcotics out in lower income communities. Does that make sense? This song is crazy. Fever featuring Niniola, crazy, and Majo. Those like that song back to back. That's probably one of the craziest 1-2 punches of songs I've heard all year. Not even gonna bullshit you. 5 songs, 13 minutes, quick listen. Did you hear this? If not, you should.
I really have the same opinion as you. Like Fever into Majo was crazy, and then I also like Kamikaze. I think the beats on here just sounded insane. Honestly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so dope when the artist makes the beat too. I don't know. The songs come out way better.
Yeah, yeah, Kanye type shit. Yeah.
Okay, last one, and then we will get out of here. There's so much new music that came out that I eventually want to get to in the next couple of weeks, but I just don't want to um rush it. Mix It Up Volume 3 by Musa Keys, right? Um you may know Musa Keys from that song Unavailable with Davido. That's
Mhm.
the only place I know him from, quite honestly. But he came up in my release radar. Um because of the artist he collaborated on this little volume 3 with. There's 3 songs. The first one has an artist named Tenny on it. She's an Afrobeats artist. The second one is No Police with Unknown T. And then the third one has ASAP Nast on it. Um, 2 and 3 are good, but I just think they're interesting. I just want to highlight rappers on On My Piano Beats. I just always want to do that because I think that's a wave that's coming that we just haven't seen saturate the market. So 3 songs, 13 minutes. Give it a listen. I thought this was going to be a quicker episode, but we're at 45 minutes. You never know what to expect here at R&R. What do you got for the people? What songs are you leaving the people with this week? There goes my mic.
Okay. I will start with "Sorry for That Much" by Feed Fed, our favorite, most mispronounced name on the R&R podcast. But this song was really good. Also came up in my release radar because I've been a big Feed Fed fan. But that one's really good. Sorry for That Much. I did go listen to that Boldy James and Conductor project. That was
Okay.
pretty good as well. Um, I guess I don't got much to say about it. If it has Conductor on it, I'm there. But I will say Flying Trapeze Act off of that project was a good song. This is one I'm going to be getting into more because of how much I like Penalty of Leadership. But those are my two: Flying Trapeze Act by Boldy James and Conductor, and then Sorry for That Much by Feed Fed, our favorite, most mispronounced name.
Okay. I'm going to check out that Boldy James project. I started listening to it, but I got distracted.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 songs for me. I might give y'all 3 this week. I don't know. I've been in my bag. I've been in my Duffy. Comfortable, Lil Wayne, Babyface. I'm almost certain this is a Kanye West beat, and it is Kanye West beat, written by Alicia Keys as well. A lot of people on this crazy, crazy record. I've been listening to that for like the last 4 days. I'm not gonna lie. I get up in the morning and that song makes me want to like go out here and make $1 million. Be completely honest. You heard that one before?
Yeah, I have. It's a good song.
Nice, nice. 2, Black. He's back. Black is back in rotation. You know what I'm saying, bro? I thought he went somewhere. He put an album out that I didn't really like, but he's back. F the Rap Game by Black. This is my favorite. Like, I like rapping Black. 6 Lack, if you don't know what I'm talking about. I like when he raps. Y'all could keep the R&B. I just want him to rap. That's it. And this record is crazy. 3, Wallan, WOLLAN, Skilly Bang and Unknown T. This is an old song, came out like 3 years ago, but it was an interesting collaboration to me because these 2 have interesting like, the way that they put words together as lyricists is very unique, both of them, and the record is dope. It's a drill record. I don't necessarily like Skilly Bang over a ton of drill because I think his cadence is super slow a lot of times, or he's usually slow. But this one, he picks up the speed a little bit, and I think he fits right in. So those are my 3 songs. Comfortable by Lil Wayne and Babyface, F the Rap Game, Black, and Walon, Skilly Bang, and Unknown T. Next week, we will be getting into our favorite songs of 2024. And then we will also be getting into what projects will I bring back? I'll probably be diving more into the connection between hip hop and other genres around the world. I've been watching a ton of Kwaito documentaries over the last year, which is house in South Africa. And more than like the actual sounds of the music, like just the visual aesthetic of other parts of the world are so influenced by hip hop. And I think my hypothesis is that, and we talked about it here before at nauseum, but I do want to reiterate the fact that I think now that we're exposed to them as much as they were exposed to us, I'm interested to see what parts of their culture we take on. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think it's like we're so special that we're the only ones that can like export culture in that way. I just think that we've had the luxury of being ahead of the curve. So that's something I'm diving more into. Um, but you'll hear from me. You'll hear from me here. You know what I'm saying? Episode 63. We almost at 100, baby. We almost at 100.
We're right there, bro. 40 more. That's probably about what? Almost another year, but hey, we almost there. Let's go. Let's go.
It won't
Let's
take that
go.
long. It won't take that long. We up in the volume. You know what I'm saying? We
Okay.
up in the volume. Anything to leave the people with.
It's Monday, so go get that work in. It'll be Wednesday when y'all see this. But if it's midway through the week and you ain't done nothing, that's on you. That's on you. Y'all have a good week.
That's all.